accepted his amendments, subject to style, and we would like to present it now for the body to consider, and of course with the minority floor leaders with his permission. May I proceed?
Yes, please proceed.
Thank you. So, Mr. Chairman, Mr. President, we are on, the amendment is on Section 6, which can be found on page 4. This is an entire section, so I will, if the said President can bear with me, I will make the amendments successively, and then I will read what the new section, I will read into the record what the new section reads. So on page 4, line 26, after the word traffic, delete the word loss and comma, and then on the same 4, line 27, after the word shall, insert a comma and the phrase as far as applicable, and then on the same line 27 on to 28, delete the phrase laws, rules, and regulations and shall be subject to existing penalties for violation, and replace that with signals, signs and markers, road pavement markings, right-of-way, and other traffic rules and regulations. We submit, we submit that, Mr. President, but for clarity, we will read it. Yes, Your Honor. We will do that. So Section 6 reads as follows: traffic, rules, and regulations. All users of non-motorized vehicles and electric personal mobility devices shall, as far as applicable, obey traffic signals, signs and markers, road pavement markings, right-of-way, and other traffic rules and regulations. We submit, Mr. President.
There being no objection to the amendment, amendments approved.
Thank you, Mr. President. Still on Section 6, this is the next paragraph. It is line 30. Delete the word ordinances and replace with guidelines.
There being no objection to the amendment, amendment approved.
And then, Mr. President, if I may proceed with my own individual amendments. On page 6, line 6, insert a new Section 11 to read as follows. Section 11, reportorial requirement. The DOTR shall submit an annual report to Congress on the establishment and use of the Safe Pathways Network for purposes of policy formulation and determining funding requirements. The report shall include relevant data such as the number of users of active transport and electric personal mobility devices and mapping of the Safe Pathways Network in the country. To this end, LGUs shall submit to the DOTR the relevant information needed to formulate the report. We submit, Mr. President, with the request that we renumber the succeeding sections accordingly.
There being no objection to the motion, amendments approved.
Mr. President, we have no other, but I would like to respond and put on record a query of our majority floor leader regarding his concern that we ensure that in establishing this active Safe Pathways Network, we keep in mind that places like churches and schools are safe zones where people are always walking. Many times there are elderlies, young children, and we'd like to assure the majority floor leader that we have taken that into consideration in Section 5. Section 5 states, institutional facilities pathways priority. LGU shall coordinate with public and private institutions within their jurisdiction frequented by the public, such as but not limited to healthcare facilities and institutions, schools, churches, and government offices, to establish bicycle lanes, walkways, and slow streets that can connect and provide safe access for the employees, customers, and clients of such institutions as well as the general public, and to encourage establishment of end-of-trip facilities with such institutions. So, Your Honor, we would like to emphasize that this provision states that the objective is to provide safe access to the general public. Would that be suitable to the majority floor leader?
That's very clear, Mr. President, and we thank our distinguished sponsor for clarifying that, Mr. President. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. President. There is nothing more, Mr. President.
Mr. President, at this juncture, with no other individual amendments, I move to close the period of individual amendments. I so move, Mr. President.
No objection to the motion of the majority leader. Motion is approved.
Mr. President, I move to adopt Senate Bill number 1290 as reported out under Committee Report